1698. 2,000 Scots board 5 ships and sail for a strip of jungle on the Colombian coast. They carry tartan, Bibles, combs, and 25 tons of periwigs, wigs, to trade with people who had never worn one. Within 18 months, 1,200 of them are dead. The rest sail home to a country that no longer has the money to exist. Here is what the textbooks call this: a failed colonial venture. Here is what the ledgers call it: the mechanism by which Scotland ceased to be a nation.
By 1695, Scotland is running out of options. England has the East India Company, the Dutch have the VOC, France has Colbert's trading apparatus, Scotland has wool, herring, and a parliament that cannot stop English naval blockades from strangling its merchants at sea. The solution arrives in the form of one man, William Paterson, the same man who 2 years earlier helped found the Bank of England. Paterson's pitch is precise: a colony at Darien, the narrow neck of Panama, would sit between the Atlantic and the Pacific. Every ship crossing between the two oceans would pay Scotland. Every ship. From every nation. It was, on paper, the most strategically perfect piece of land on earth. The Company of Scotland raises £400,000 in weeks. That figure represents between 1/4 and 1/2 of all liquid capital in the kingdom. Merchants, nobles, lawyers, widows. Scotland does not invest in the Darien scheme. Scotland bets itself on it.
The first fleet lands in November 1698. They name the settlement New Caledonia. They build Fort St. Andrew from green timber that rots before the walls are finished. Step 1. The land itself. Darien is not a highland plateau or a Baltic port. It is equatorial rainforest with 90% humidity, standing water in every depression, and a mosquito population that carries malaria and yellow fever in concentrations the settlers have no framework to understand. The colony's surgeon has one instrument that works: a record of how fast men die. Within 3 months, 10 men a day are dying, not from Spanish attack, from the ground. Step 2. The supply chain that was never built. The expedition carries 7 months of provisions. It carries no mechanism for resupply, because the directors in Edinburgh assumed the colony would be trading within 90 days. It was not trading, it was burying. Step 3. The English embargo. King William II, the same king who rules both England and Scotland, issues orders to every English colonial governor in the Caribbean. No provisions, no assistance, no contact with the Scots at Darien. This is not a coincidence. The East India Company has already lobbied London to kill the Company of Scotland before it opens a competing trade route. The embargo is the mechanism. It is not called a sabotage, it is called policy. And here is the part that history books skip entirely. The Darien colony does not fail because Scots were incompetent colonizers. It fails because the English crown, while sharing a monarch with Scotland, deliberately starves it of the one thing that could have saved it: time. The first wave abandons the colony in June 1699. They leave behind tents, tools, and 1,100 graves. The directors in Edinburgh do not know the first expedition has failed. The ships carrying news have not arrived, so they dispatch a second fleet, 2,000 more settlers, into a colony that has already been abandoned. When the second wave arrives, they find Fort St. Andrew overgrown, the well poisoned, the magazines empty. The Spanish attack in February 1700. The survivors surrender. Scotland's colony exists for 26 months. It never turns a profit. It never establishes a single functioning trade route. The Company of Scotland is worthless. And here is the question this document still has not answered. Was Darien a failed venture or a managed failure? A miscalculation or a mechanism designed to remove a competitor before it opened? Drop your answer below. It changes everything about what comes next. Scotland is now facing national insolvency. The capital losses from Darien are not abstract. They are the savings of the merchant class, the lawyers, the landowners, the minor nobility, the people who run the country's institutions. Scotland cannot borrow. Its credit is destroyed. It cannot trade independently. English naval power controls the sea lanes. It cannot industrialize. It has no capital base left to invest. In 1707, the Act of Union is put to the Scottish Parliament. The financial terms are specific.
England offers the equivalent, £398,085, to be distributed to Company of Scotland shareholders as compensation for their losses. The arithmetic is blunt. Scotland's ruling class lost money in Darien. England offers to return it in exchange for dissolving the Scottish Parliament and merging the two kingdoms. The vote passes. 110 in favour, 69 against. Robert Burns would later call the men who voted yes a parcel of rogues in a nation, bought and sold for English gold. The ledgers are more clinical. England did not conquer Scotland with an army, it settled a debt.
The Darien scheme is taught, where it is taught at all, as a lesson in Scottish overreach, ambition exceeding capability. The mechanism is more interesting than that. A nation's entire liquid capital concentrated into a single venture, a competing imperial power with both the motive and the means to ensure that venture fails, a compensation package that by design arrived only after the target nation had exhausted every other option. The result was not a colonial failure, it was a leveraged acquisition. If that architecture sounds familiar, it should. The same structure appears in 3 other episodes we have already documented: a dominant power, a competitor, a manufactured crisis, and a settlement that looks like generosity. Subscribe. We cover the ledger, not the legend.